Well, howdy ho, everybody. Today we got a choice from Deserted Cats 1 or Deserted Cats 2. This one's a little more detailed, so I think we're going to go ahead and go with number 1 first, which makes more sense. Deserted Cats is my best-selling book, but for those of you who don't have it, I'm giving this to you for free because I want you to color along with me. So I'm going to go with Woomer for this picture because I find that the color palette is ideal for what I'm looking for. I'm going to go with a lime macaroon. So I got a really light lime and then 2 in-betweens, which is great. And for the cat, most likely an orangish color. There's 1 solid orange and some other colors that sort of resemble orange. So we're going to make it work. We have a light blue for the background, and we're going to make some magic. So, funny story. I recently received an email from Woomer saying, we love your YouTube channel, and we think it would be great if we could send you a set of Woomer pencils for you to review. And I thought to myself, but I literally just reviewed the set I bought, and you weren't paying attention to my channel at all. Also, yes, please send me some free pencils. So they did. Now, the great thing is the review I did was, pre-Woomer. So everything I said about them, I didn't feel influenced. Y'all know me, I like to give a very honest opinion. And my honest opinion about these was I love them. So the good news now is they also gave me a discount code. You can find it below, which you put the code in and you'll get these at a better price. So I thought that was great. Having said all that, I'm keeping it open. I don't ever want to put anybody coloring along with me in a situation where they feel like they have to get a pencil. So if I'm using Polychromos or Woomer or whatever pencil, I want to say, look, I'm using a lime green. So go to whatever set you have and grab a lime green, as opposed to trying to find, a green 507. So, just get as close as you can, and I promise you it's going to look fine when we're done. And speaking of budget pencils, one of my all-time favorite cheap pencils is Finding the Lost Girl. That one just speaks to me, whether it's the tin, the color palette. It's an absolute joy for me, those pencils. And this set reminds me a lot of it as far as the attributes go. I love the tins on both of them. I love the aesthetic of the pencil on both of them. And again, for me, it is about pencil appreciation. It's about everything we like about color pencils. But if I had to choose between these two, because it would be close, I would probably go Woomer for one simple fact. The pencils are labeled, which makes organization so much easier. Finding the Lost Girl, the pencils are completely blank, which drove me up the wall because they were so close to being just supreme. Let me point something out. I grabbed 3 greens. I didn't get a real deep dark. I got the lights, the mid-range, but I'm going to grab this dark here because I need something to pop out the other colors. Anytime I'm going into a color palette. So, for example, these macaroons, I want these to be lime. So I have my base green and then a really light green. But the green I grabbed before was more of a lime. And I didn't have that one dark color to push the dimensions out on this shape. So you could see already, look what this green is doing. It's completely accenting the side where the lighting is kind of cast upon. It's pushing the left side out a lot more. And your darks, that's why they're so important, when your sets have the real deep, rich darks in them, is because that's what you're going to achieve when you put all 3 of those colors, your light, your base, and your dark. That's what makes your item really take shape. It's funny, the color I'm using right now, this is the color I originally picked to be my dark, but that forest I just laid down, that forest green, is so much deeper that it's now making this color my base color. So I'm going back into it with the lime. what I'm doing here now with this light color, I'm going over everything, and I'm almost using this as a blender where I don't want to wash anything out, but I'm going to go ahead and add that brighter green on top of everything. And with those darks in there, this too is going to really make this little macaroon take shape. And I'm going back and forth. I'm working these colors from dark to medium to light, dark, medium to light, until the entire shape is a lot more solid. So when I do go into this to blend it, it's going to be a lot smoother because there's so many layers laid down. And here we go with the magic. Lo and behold, I am not a fan of Staedtler, and yet Staedtler has a blender that is phenomenal. This is a mid-range blender where it's not too aggressive, but it's not too soft. This one falls between Grizzly and Caran, and I fell in love with it. What it does phenomenally is you see how it's pushing those darks around, but it's subtly making them go into the lime greens. If it's too aggressive, it'll start removing some of the color and sometimes, blending too well. But I want these dark shadows under the tail and in between the layers of the macaroon. So it makes this one just ideal. Now, because I am in the unique position of editing here my actual, color along, I'm going to do something you don't often see, but I think it will be helpful for a few of you. We're going to have a little fun here. I'm going to show you this exact macaroon before I started blending it, right there. So you could see where the paper is porous and where the greens are scattered about, and now look how smooth. Porous, smooth, porous, and smooth. So you get it. See how much fun that was. Now, what I'm showing you here are the greens I'm using. These two in the middle are essentially the same thing. So I got my super light, my super dark, and now I just need a base. I'm going to pretty much just go with this lime one and drop the other one. It's really not necessary at this point. Now, this area right here, I'm going to leave this blank. So when I'm coloring, I'm going to keep that area in mind, and I'm going to avoid it. This is going to give this lime a little bit of a sheen to it, a little bit of a glare, and it's going to really help push it out as far as 3D. Now, do not judge me. For whatever reason, I thought I recorded it, but I did not. The camera, I don't know if I erased it or if I just had it paused, but the outside of the lime, which you so clearly see is already done, I didn't get that recorded. So, but you could see what it is. It's that deep, dark pine green on the outside, the base green in the middle, and then that light neon lime on the outside. And then leave a little bit of trim where the pulp kind of is on the lime. Leave that alone. We're not going to color that at all. For me, one of the hard parts of doing this editing, I'm recording so much, so I am going to try my best to get this down to like 35 minutes, maybe less if I can, but you're looking at well over an hour maybe an hour and a half easy of actual footage that I'm sorting through. So the challenging part for me is figuring out what to cut and what not. So you'll see my pencil kind of jump around. Like right here, I'm making these, I'm using that deep green and I'm making stroke and stroke, and now I'm jumping. Here's my base green, which is that lime. So you'll see, if you pay attention, you'll watch me coloring a little bit, and all of a sudden my pencil will just magically appear on another spot of the page. And it's simply because I don't find it necessary to force you to watch so much repetition. We do learn. It's undoubtable we learn through repetition. But I think there's going to be plenty enough on your own without me boring you with watching me do the same thing over and over. Because this truly is a lot of rinse and repeat. And one final thing I want to point out with this lime is a lot of what I'm doing, sometimes I don't care. I either go circles or cross hatching or just, little stripes. It kind of, if you do it right, it'll all come out the same anyway. But with this lime, I want those strokes. I purposely made the forest green, that deep green, I made those look like limes because I want that illusion of what, a piece of fruit would look like. Something that tickled me when I was drawing Deserted Cats, it just never dawned on me that all these pieces of sliced fruit could be either, an orange, a lemon, or a lime. So I really like that about that. I like that right now I'm coloring a lime, but you very well could be doing an orange. Just remember you need your three base colors, your three main colors, your base orange, your dark orange, and your light. And you basically rinse and repeat exactly what I'm doing to get the desired look you're wanting. Let me take you to school on a little subject I call a little darker 101. You see, the lime and the macaroon pretty much look done right here. And as you can see, it's not bad at all. But I'm going to show you again through the magic of editing the before and after I add these little dark parts. Now, in our A Little Darker 101 class, what I want you to get from this one little part, it's fairly simple. Once you're done, once you think you're done, and yes, this includes after blending. Blending is an important part because you can now see what the final product's going to look like. I almost always take one more pass with my darks. It's the difference is night and day. So in this case, I've been calling it pine green, but it's the olive green in the Woomer set. So this olive green is my darkest color, and I'm just going to go back and touch over most of the spots that I originally had it in. Now the colors blended. A lot of people don't realize, depending on the blender, and most of them do accept it, you can continue to add layers on top of that blender, especially when they're dark. It's not as easy when it's a lighter color, but the dark ones will stick because it's not as washed out with the wax. So here I'm going to go over all the important spots on the macaroon, and then I'm going to move my way over to the lime. And from that point, you're going to see, I'm going to show you a before and after of what this little darker phase will do to your drawing. Here's where we do some magic. This part right here that I'm adding, this olive green under the lime peel, this is going to really pop it out, especially since that white is right up against the green. It's just going to make this look so much deeper when I'm done. So all I'm going to do is go around the peel and then some of that little white part going down the middle. And this technique I'm doing right here it's going to make your drawing stand out so much more. Okie dokie. So if you look now, this is what I showed you before. This is not having added any of the dark parts. So you can see again, it looks like it would be complete. But now look at it here. Can you see the big difference? Look how much more three-dimensional like the lime. Look specifically at the top of that lime where it kind of pops out. So before, after. Before, after. And right here, we're going to talk a little bit more about Blender options. Earlier, I used that Staedtler, and the reason I used it is because I wanted to be somewhat aggressive in pushing the colors around, getting those darks blended. But here, I'm actually going with the softest blender, which is a Caran. And why am I doing that? Because remember those little lines I said to put down that essentially shows the grain and the flow of the lime? I don't want to lose those. And I don't want to lose that little stripe right in the middle. So if you notice, I'm not avoiding anything. I'm going from the top of this lime to the bottom of the line and going right over that glare. It's softening it, but it's not erasing it. Same thing with those olive green stripes up top. It's not removing any of them. It's just blending them very, very subtly. And that's why this is a perfect blender for maintaining the detail. And now for the star of the show, the kitty cat. Ironically, I don't even want to use the orange. I'm going to go with a cream, a chrome yellow, and then finally for the stripes, I'm going to go with like a cinnamon. And I think these colors together will work really nicely. It's still going to give him the cartoony look, but at the same time, it's going to give that fur a little more kick to it. I'm going to go ahead and lay down this cream pretty much over the entire cat. And my reason for doing that is not that I want the whole cat to be cream, but I'm trying to take a lot of the tooth out of the paper. The cinnamon is an extremely deep color. And same thing with the chrome yellow. It does have a lot of bright yellow to it. And I don't want that to come out too much. So by laying this cream down over the entire cat, it's going to make the other colors I put on top of it softer. But having said that, I want to put this on in a very light layer. I don't want to remove all the tooth from my paper, just enough that it's going to lighten some of these following colors. Something to point out while I add this very bright yellow to the cat. I'm not trying to go for that over-the-top cartoon, like a neon yellow look, but at the same time, I do want this to be a fun character. But the thing I want to point out to you is as yellow as this looks right now, when I go on top of this with the cinnamon and start adding those stripes to the cat, it is going to seriously neutralize the brightness that this yellow is showing right now. And it's going to bring the whole thing together. So again, look how bright that ear is. It looks like, an absolute yellow, but I'm just going to keep on working it. I'm going to go back and forth from the yellow to the cinnamon. And then if that gets too loud, I'm going to neutralize it again with the cream. But see right here, I'm laying this down. This is where my stripes are going to go. So now I'm doing with this yellow what I did with the cream. I'm taking out more tooth and I'm giving the cinnamon a runway, if you will. So when that goes down, watch how it's going to blend nicely into this yellow. If I had not put that yellow there, it would be a lot darker, a lot deeper, and that's not necessarily what I want. I want to work up to that. And in case you picked up what I was doing with those top stripes, I was actually sandwiching the cinnamon between the other layers of color. So you saw me do the cream and then the yellow, then the cinnamon, then the yellow again. I'm purposely I'm neutralizing that deep dark color in between lighter colors. And the reason I'm doing this is because when I go to blend them, I'm going to use a soft blender. And the more layers I have there, the better and the smoother it's all going to blend, while still maintaining the stripes that I want to show through. Once again, you kind of see me skipping around here. I didn't skip very much doing the right side of the page. So since it's basically just another repeat, I am kind of jumping through this as not to bore you too much. But that's exactly what I'm doing again, is layering. Putting my dark down, lightening it with the lighter colors, and then I'll put the dark again. Again, I'm preparing the look I want for when I'm about to blend. You know, while I'm thinking about it, maybe I'll go ahead and do at least the next color along also with Woomer, because, I mean, why not? I have a discount code right now. It's a very affordable pencil. It's a really good pencil, especially for this price. So since I do have that code and y'all can get it for a cheaper price, why don't we go ahead and do that? If for those of you who do want to go ahead and get the Woomer pencils, I will do at least one more color along. That way y'all can keep up with this set. And again, I can't stress enough, you don't need any set to color along with anyone, especially me. If I grab a yellow, just grab a yellow. If I grab a brown, grab a brown. It'll look fine when it's all said and done. But I know the discount is a limited time. So I figure, why not? Let's see. Let's go ahead and strike while the iron's hot and see if we can get y'all some cheaper pencils to have a little fun while we do this together. I don't know what it is about stripes on a tail, but I just love them. I think it's just such a defining part of the character, and you could do so much with it. Whether you leave the tip of the tail white, or have the entire thing a certain color, or have very uneven stripes or even stripes. I just love doing the tails of these cats. You could see here, I'm just kind of winging it, honestly. As I put my pencil down, I'm just letting it go where it goes, because you can see here that when I set out to do it, it's supposed to be one stripe right there. But as I did it, I realized, oh, wait, there could be two. And then I'm just going to make that end up working. So by the time I do the rest of these colors and keep on layering it, the tail is just going to look really fun. And now that I have all the wax down from these pencils, I'm going to go into it again with the cinnamon because I want the stripes to be a little more dominant than they are. You could see them, but they're really light. They're faded because I did all the blending with the lighter colors. So right now I'm just going back into wherever I want the stripes to be the most dominant, and I'm just going to lightly lay in layers the cinnamon on until I bring them to a level that I want. It's so quiet. This is the sound of wax on wax. Shh. Now, I want you to pay attention to something I do right here. My gut tells me I did all those layers so I could use a soft blender. But at the last minute, I thought to myself, I'm going to use a Derwent, which is well beyond an aggressive blender. Now, watch this stripe that I'm about to hit right here. Watch me kind of erase it with this blender. See, it's pushing the cinnamon completely off. And it's at that point I realized, yeah, this is the wrong blender. So now I'm just going to go back to what I originally wanted, which is the Caran. You see, even where that brown is still really light and thin, this Caran doesn't remove it. It just lightens it and spreads it about. And for the collar, ultramarine and deep sky blue. It's such a small item. I'm not really worried about a base color, a light color, and a dark color. I'm just going to go from my dark to a light, and I'm going to let the white of the paper become my really light blue. And in tight areas like this, if you want anything resembling white, you've got to use a really soft blender. So I'm back to the Caran here. Otherwise, there is a 60% chance that little white glare mark would completely dissolve and just kind of fade into the rest of the colors. This blue here is the Caribbean Sea. I love, love, love it. This, if there was any pencil that I could request in any set, it would be this super soft baby blue, this powder blue that's one step away from being white. I absolutely love it for backgrounds, and I can tell you right now, this is going to be the first pencil that ends up draining on me. I'm speeding this process up because there's zero reason to make you sit through me just literally jumping around. I'm just trying to add some color to the background. At the end of the day, I just want it to look good. I want it to look balanced. So I'm going to put a little blue here, a little blue there. I get my baby blue and I soften up the paper, and then I mix it in with the a little bit of a darker blue, and I'm just going to bounce back and forth. But don't worry, I'm going to leave the sound in because I know you like it. And here we go, finally getting a chance to use the orange. So I'm using that cinnamon for the dark. I'm using the orange for the base, and for the light, because it's, again, like the collar, such a small area, I'm going to let that white of the paper, when I blend it, that white's going to become the really soft orange. Told you. Yeah. And finally, just like before, I'm going back over the stripes with the cinnamon, especially the one that I erased with the aggressive blender. And I'm really going to pop these stripes out on the cat, and it's going to really push him out, push out the shape and give him a lot more life. This is one of my favorite parts, is going back into it and adding that extra set of dark layers. And there we have our perfect little macaroon cat. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I hope it was informative without being boring. If you do want to pick up a set of Woomer, the link is below, and I'm going to go ahead and stick at the end of this video the link to my review on Woomer, so we could both color along with them next time. Hope to see you soon.